Hello and happy Tuesday. Today we are going to be reviewing some world whiskeys, some single malts from places that are not here in the US, are not from Scotland, our country's most dangerous enemy, are not from Japan, our country's most dangerous enemy. There is an Ireland in here. Actually, let's start with this. Ireland, our country's most dangerous enemy. Ireland, as you may know, has been selling us many, many different things, particularly pharmaceuticals. How dare they? They should not be sending us their poisons. All we need for our health is raw milk and beef tallow French fries and a generous weekly dose of testosterone cypionate. So we're going to start there. Then we're going to move on to Canada, our country's most dangerous enemy. Glen Breton. Ice. A Bruges from Belgium, our country's most dangerous enemy. And lastly, a Binny's pick, old Binny's pick from Starward. I was able to grab off the closeout shelf. And these guys are set up in Australia, also our country's most dangerous enemy. Red wine cask. All right, let's get started. Ireland. This is a Waterford. This is the Koffi Cuvée, which came out, I think, like a year and a half ago. So it's one of their kind of blended cuvées. Hold on, I have some notes for you here. So different. So usually they do like the whole terroir thing, individual farms. Focuses on heirloom varietals, that kind of thing. This is a blend of different stuff they've done, and it is 24 different farms: first fill and virgin American oak, French oak, and Vin Doux Naturel cask. So South France, sweet fortified wine casks. About the most interesting about this is the oldest Waterford I have ever tried. This is over 6 years old. Amazing. How about that? Let's see what we got here. I mean, it's got that, I want to say like stereotypical Waterford profile. It's very grainy. You're getting a ton of oatmeal on this. A ton of like hearty multi-grain bread. There is a little bit of an unripe strawberry thing with some herbs, some leafiness from the red wine casks, and a heck of a lot of vanilla. And that's kind of what I think of as their profile for most of what I tried. Sometimes it gets weird. You get some cheesy notes in there, but this is core Waterford. But it smells more mature. It smells, and by that I don't necessarily mean that it's got more cask influence, because it doesn't. It feels like it's grown into itself a little bit more. It feels a little bit more balanced, a little bit more composed. It feels like the distillate and the casks have kind of made a little bit more peace with each other. There is some sawdust in this as well. There's like a fun beery note in this. What is that? Almost like a little bit of a Belgian double note. Certainly a lot of black pepper, nutmeg, cinnamon. There is a French oak thing going on, but it's hard to nail down exactly what the note is. Like dried orange, maybe? It's something. It's not exactly candied orange. It's more like, you dried out some orange. Dried orange slices. A little bit of a chocolate orange thing, too. We're heading into that season, so that's in my mind. Yeah, I mean, it's a good nose. Like, this is, you hear about the Waterford project. This is, well, let me back up. When I've tried previous Waterfords, something like this profile was sort of what I was hoping to get, ultimately. Like, it just feels more mature, and even though it's doing basically the same things as the other ones. Yeah, I like that beery note. That's fun. On the palate. %50 ABV on this. I mean, same conclusion as the nose. This is just, if you've had previous Waterfords, we're in that territory. It's just had more time to kind of mature and grow into itself and attain, happiness and marriage between the spirit and the cask. I could just repeat the notes to some extent. Lots of oatmeal, hearty rye, hearty multigrain bread, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice. That Belgian double note. Maybe it's more of a triple on the palate, but it's that style of ale. That kind of subtle beery spiciness that's in here. Black pepper. A little bit of Darjeeling tea. Dried orange again. I'm not getting the chocolate note so much on the palate, but there's also a little bit of lemon peel on this. Red wine casts on the palate are actually more subtle, which I don't mind. But there's a little bit of like a hint of red fruit, that unripe strawberry thing. There's certainly some leafiness, not really herbaceousness. It's more like a couple of fresh forest leaves that my 3-year-old pulled off a tree somewhere. Maybe put like one sprig of basil on top. Pretty good mouth presence. Like we're getting back into my tonsils a little bit, which I'm happy about. Finish holds nicely. This is pretty good. It's one of those distilleries that it's just going to get the stocks are just going to get better, whether the distillery is still active or not. The stocks are just going to get better as they get older. Like it's. I said lots of bad things about them when they were still in life, and I'm not going to take any of those back. But that's the fact of the matter. Like these stocks, as they get older, are just going to get better. Like the fundamental quality is still there. The red wine stuff kind of, and some of the experimentation, that sort of annoys me. But there you go. I mean, keep an eye out for stuff like this at a higher age. If if they're reasonably priced. Let's give this some water and we'll move on. All right. This is Canada, right? Yes, Canada, our nation's most dangerous enemy. Canada has started refusing to buy our bourbons and our beers and our wines. They seem very, very mad at us, and all just because we said we might, annex them. And that's terrible. That's terrible. 35% tariff on you, Canada. Incidentally, if you are interested, there will be oral arguments on the legality of these tariffs on November 5th. So put that in your calendar. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the most recent Tom video. So what is this? This is Glen Breton from Nova Scotia. It's the distillery that got in trouble with the Scotch whiskey industry. Glenora Distillery. Now, what makes this interesting, this ice, is that it has been finished in ice wine casks. An ice wine, it's a dessert wine. It's made. You're still concentrating the flavor of the grapes as you would with, say, Noble Rot or something, but you're doing it through basically freezing the grapes. So you have cold mornings, deep in the harvest season. The grapes like literally freeze on the vine, and then you kind of harvest them right then and there, and you get a very, very concentrated, powerful, sugary flavor that is much cleaner than you get with like Noble Rot or even a lot of late harvest kinds of dessert wines. They're delicious. They're phenomenally expensive, but it's very interesting to see whiskey aged in them. This is also. So I was kind of disappointed in the last Glen Breton I had, but this one has to be better because it's 57.2% alcohol by volume. So hopes are high. Let's see what we got. Okay. Take some cream of wheat. Take some different kinds of melon. Slice up some different melons, and just put them on top of your cream of wheat. That's kind of the nose here. It's very interesting. Something else, something industrial in this too. It's like a hot plastic thing. What is that? You know what? I'm gonna steal. I'm gonna steal a note from Robin over at This Blog's Neat. The smell you get when you enter a Staples or an Office Max or something. That smell, yeah, that's in here, along with the melon and the cream of wheat. There's some grapiness too. There's some. It isn't really raisins. Like this is just like crushed white grapes. White pepper, some green apple, a little bit of pear. Kind of a curry note, like a little bit of a curry spicy note. Hard to nail down. So yeah, very fruity, but it's hard to pull apart the particular notes in this. I do like the kind of Office Max staple smell, though. Interesting. Touch of cinnamon in there as well. Okay, on the palate. There's whiskeys out there. I mean, Stag, George T. Stag is the best example, where the fun of them is like you drink them and they kind of explode in your mouth and you go, wowzers. And if you kind of sit back and think about them and pick them apart, you kind of realize they're good, they're fine, they're not really that good. This is kind of in that category. There is a spectacle aspect of this thing. It really just does go pow the second it hits your palate and kind of takes over your whole mouth. But it's hard to pull apart the notes. The finish doesn't hold on that long. Don't take me to be saying this is a Stag killer or even as good as Stag, and I'm not someone who thinks GTS is all that good. But it's that kind of style. It's like just big and explosive and fun, but there's not much depth behind it. Sorry, I'm babbling because I'm trying to figure out how to kind of disambiguate all the flavors going on here. Grapes, like very sweet grapes, cotton candy grapes, along with just straight up cotton candy. There's what is that? There's like a bubblegum aspect to this thing, like melon bubblegum. Let's go with that. I don't know if that exists, but let's say it does. The cream of wheat thing, and you've like mixed some pepper and some curry spices into your cream of wheat. Apple slices, like 1 pear slice. Touch of vanilla, cinnamon. It's fun. I mean, it's especially for folks just coming into the hobby. You give them the glass of this and have them take a tiny sip, and their eyes are gonna explode, and their minds will be blown. And then like 5 years later, they can come back to it and say, "Huh, this isn't as good as I remember it being." It's one of those whiskeys. It's certainly good. Don't get me wrong. I think I like this a lot better than the previous Glen Breton. Big explosion, but yeah, there's nothing happening beyond the front of my mouth. Finish doesn't hold on that long. And yeah, the texture beyond that kind of first big initial pow, it's not that great, but it has its appeal. Certainly has its appeal. Let's give this some water, and we'll move on to Belgium. It'll probably do 5. I'm going to stop at 4 because I think this might fall apart. All right, Bruges. From Belgium, our country's most dangerous enemy. They think they can make better chocolate than us? How dare you, Belgium? 15% tariff on you. All right, Bruges. This is a single cask picked by Passion for Whiskey. It's a bourbon cask. I know absolutely nothing about this distillery. I haven't been able to find much, to be honest, but always curious to try whiskeys and especially malts from new places. Let's see what we got. Ooh. Very funny nose, very floral. Very floral. But it's like very candied at the same time. Yeah, it's like almost if you combined potpourri with like caramel. That's what this smells like. Beyond that, there's some vanilla. Almost like a malted milk balls note as well. Yeah, some graininess. But the fun is that kind of potpourri meets caramel note. This is fun. A little sea salt, so maybe it's salted caramel. A subtle kind of smoky note, not peat. This is not peated. It's like a little bit of a hot, like a hot metal thing. But I like it. This is not old. It's, 4 years old? Maybe? So, distilled 2020, bottled 2024. It does have that sense of youth to it, but it's... I mean, this is why world whiskeys are fun, because this does not smell like something that would come out of Scotland or Ireland or Japan. Like, this is its own thing. I'm really digging the nose, or at least that kind of central note, like candied potpourri. This is great. On the palate, not as convincing or on the palate, but it does. The notes carry through. The problem is presence. It just doesn't stick around very well. So, on the arrival, you've got the potpourri salted caramel thing, and I'm really, really enjoying that. There's also some tobacco, some Balkan Sobrani, like Balkan-style tobacco with a little bit of smokiness to it. That kind of hot metal thing, vanilla. A certain graininess. You've got the malted milk balls in there, but it's throw some whole grain wheat or something in there as well. I like the flavor profile. It doesn't stick around for very long. There's really everything that happens is happening at the front of my mouth. Again, a little bit like the Glen Breton. And after a second, a lot of it, except for a little bit of like a tea tannin thing, there's like a sweet tea component in this too, sorry. Except for the tannins, the structural stuff, most of it just kind of fades. I would expect at least the flowers to stick around because that's pretty normal, but it's mostly gone. And the mouthfeel is interesting. There's an oiliness to this, which is okay, but it still doesn't feel that substantive, especially for something at 57.6%. One more time. I like this. There's something to this. I want to see it with more age. I would particularly love to see this with like a heavier cask influence. I know I normally don't say that kind of thing. Like I'm normally like, Captain, throw it in a half dead bourbon cask for 20 years and that'll make me happy. This, no, I think you could throw it in a really dripping wet Oloroso cask or something like that, or a French oak, and would really benefit. Still fun. I like the distillate, but I don't know if bourbon is the best match for this, to be totally honest. Let's give it some water. Maybe it will prove me wrong. 3, 4. I do love that nose, though. That kind of floral candy thing. Yeah, that's fun. All right. Just a little more water. Okay. And now the Starward. I grabbed this off the Binny's closeout rack for nothing. This is a Starward single barrel. Australian whiskey, sourced from Barossa. And this was originally filled in November 18, bottled May 22. It's barrel number 13137 at 56% alcohol by volume. Oh, I thought this was stronger. I should have put this in the back. 56%. And the story of the cask is a little bit interesting. It starts out in a fresh red wine cask. And then it was transferred to a heavy char American oaks hogshead in 2020. So you're sort of getting half and half of fresh red wine cask and then fresh charred U.S. oak. I've had some. Starward is an interesting distillery because I've had some offerings from them. I don't think I've reviewed them before. They're one of those distilleries that can actually pull off the red wine cask pretty well. I think because they could do some really aggressive, like recharring. But yeah, this is the first time I've seen a single barrel from them, or at least I've had a single barrel from them. So let's see. Okay. Raisinets and like graininess. So, yeah, imagine like you made a big old bowl of muesli. You left it in the fridge overnight. And you just dumped a whole bunch of raisinets on top. Yeah, chocolate, like super duper rich chocolate and dried fruit, particularly raisins, red raisins. There's some red plum in here too. Dried cherry. Dried strawberry as well. Yeah, we're doing the red wine thing, but we're pulling back on the herbs. The herbs are really what bothers me, along with the kind of prickliness that can be spicy boys. We pulled back on that stuff and really emphasized the red fruit side of things. There is a little bit of leafiness. There's a little bit of like a toasted basil thing. Not too much, though. There's a little bit of prickly black pepper stuff. Not too much, though. Really on like muesli chocolate and like rich dried red fruit. Red currant. Raspberry, even. Okay. I mean, it smells young. It smells very, very cask dominant, but I'm enjoying it so far on the palate. Not subtle. I mean, ooh. Just a brute, and I love it. Very much in character with other Starwards that I've had. Just bigger because of the strength. Really just takes over your mouth. There is so much wood on this. It's almost Irish in style. I mean, like the more aggressive end of Ireland. Just barrel, 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 barrel. There is some muesli / like toasted oatmeal in the back of this. To kind of remind you it's a whiskey, but man, this is all about dark chocolate, all that kind of dried red fruit I talked about before, black pepper, just burned stuff, charred stuff. Clove, allspice. More leaves on the palate than there are on the nose. Some basil, some like half-dried fall leaves. Maybe, they shouldn't have come off the tree yet, but my 3-year-old kind of yanked them off already. But there's already starting to change color. There's a little bit of that in here. A little bit of smoky tea on this. A little bit of like a Russian caravan kind of character. I mean, it's young, and there's no denying that. Most of what's happening is at the front of my mouth. There's a little bit creeping back into my tonsils. Not much, though. But what it kind of lacks in that maturity, mouth length, that stuff, it's a big old boom on the front of the palate, and it sticks around. And it's not just the structure. I mean, there's a lot of char and like tea leaves and tannins that stay around in this, but you keep the red fruit and some of the chocolate as well. This is a darn good 3-year-old whiskey. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm beginning to not hate red wine casks anymore. I think I've run into too many examples of it being done well that I just have to blanket dismiss the whole category. I'm still worried about it. It's not my favorite, but clearly red wine barrels can be done well. Let's give this some water and we'll come back to it. We'll go back through. Not bad, Australia. You are our country's most dangerous enemy. How dare you try to sell us your kangaroo meat and your other exotic meats? We only want ribeyes over here. 10% tariff on you. But not a bad whiskey. I I could add more. I don't think it needs it. I'll leave it like that. All right. Back to the Waterford, which honestly might have been winning this going into the second round. Wow, okay. Very different nose. It's grainy, but it's also like almost confectionery at the same time. So imagine you made sugar cookies with like whole grain flour. That's kind of what, like, and you're mixing wheat with some rye flour, but it's like, or shortbread. That's what this smells like. Whole wheat flour, shortbread cookies. Really fun. There is some Lipton's tea creeping in. A little bit of more sawdust. So there's some virgin oak kind of coming in on this, but I don't hate it. It's balanced. I mean, if you dumped these barrels and blended them 2 years earlier, I don't think this would have worked. At least not as well. But at this point in its life, with a healthy 6 years behind it, it's starting to come together. Really nice. A little bit of some kind of spicy thing. I want to say white pepper. No, it's more like a mix of white pepper and cumin. Something like that. On the palate. I'm not a Waterford expert by any means. By any means. I had my issues with the previous ownership. But this is the best Waterford I've ever had. Let's start with that. Very, very grainy. I mean, so we've got the kind of whole wheat sugar shortbread thing on the palate. But there's also some burned oatmeal. A lot of the stuff I described in the first round, that's still sticking around. But you've got the shortbread thing coming in to kind of lighten things up. It's just got a lot of dimensions to it. There's some bitterness. There's an ashiness to this, a tobacco character. Even a little bit of like a lemony barley sour thing. This is good. Yeah, I mean, this is a good whiskey. Get this at a good price. I mean, go out and buy it. Definitely keep an eye on, on Waterford stuff at this kind of older, age point. I will call this an 87. 87 points for Waterford Coffee Cuvée. Yeah, okay, moving on. Let's see if Canada can beat that. Back to the Glen Breton Ice, 10-year-old at 57.2%. On the nose. So my sense is that water kind of brings out what was underneath the ice wine finish. And normally I wouldn't be mad about that, except Glen Breton is such a especially the last time I tried it, it's such a just malt whiskey. It is one of the malt whiskeys of all time. That's what it's got some fruit, apple and pear. It's got a little dash of honey in there, a little white pepper, some graininess, some cream of wheat. And that's nice. It's fine. A little cinnamon. But it's just so it's so basic as a profile. And you can still get a little bit of that kind of ice wine melon grapey thing, but with water it kind of moves into the background. which again, normally I wouldn't be mad at, but now I'm kind of missing it on the palate. No. This is one you want to keep at cask strength. It's not that water makes it worse. It just kind of diminishes the spectacle factor of this. I mean, it's fine. I actually like the palate right now more than I was enjoying the nose with water, because more of the finish sticks around. You're getting all the stuff like the apple pear, honey, grainy stuff, the white pepper, all that stuff from the basic distillate. But you got your kind of weird mutant grapey thing. Melon, a little bit of citrus, adding a touch of interest. But, so yeah, this is better on the palate now than it was on the nose. I guess it was before, too. But it's just, yeah, adding water really kind of brings out how, I don't want to be nice. I want to be nice. I want to think of nice words to talk about this with. It's showing up. It's clocking in. It's doing the thing, but there's just not a lot of passion to what this is. So yeah, I will call this. It's not bad. Yeah, the mouth presence is maybe a little bit better on the in certain respects. I will call this an 85 with a bomb emoji, because that's kind of what this is. Keep it at cask strength. Do not get water anywhere near this. Not because it gets worse with water, but because with water you will notice there's not actually that much to this. But essentially there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's a nice 85. I'm being nice. I was thinking about an 84, but it's better than that. Not by much. 85 bomb. 85 bomb emoji out of 100. Bruges on the nose. Exactly the same. Same nose. And that's kind of what you expect from a younger whiskey. Salted caramel and potpourri. And a little bit of graininess. Oh, and that beer thing, too. Yeah. Fun. On the palate. Damn it, I think I like the Glen Breton better. I mean, no disrespect to this, because I feel like if you combine these two, you get something really interesting. Because the Bruges is a much more interesting dram in lots of ways. Because the palate, again, it's exactly the same as it was before. Go back and rewatch that; it's the same notes. But it's still falling off pretty quick. It's not holding on. Not great mouth presence in general. But it's interesting because of the particular flavor profile. Glen Breton, much more punchy, much more much more accessible in certain kinds of ways, but just more boring, less interest. I feel like if you combine these two, then you get something. I will call, you know what? I'll give this a score. I'll call this an 84. I mean, that's kind of what it tastes like. It's an 84. It's nice, but I feel like I'm catching it young. and it just needs more time to kind of grow into itself. But let's have some fun. I'm going to pour Canada into Belgium here, and we'll see if we can make something that's better than the sum of its parts. Sorry, we're doing experiments on camera. On the nose, you are getting a fusion of the two. So you're getting your hints of that kind of potpourri caramel thing, which I'm enjoying. It's not as potent, but it's there. But it's also buoyed by basic, bright, fruity malt whiskey kinds of notes. And I approve. I like this nose. On the palate, hang on now. We've actually got better mouth presence on this little spur-of-the-moment blend than we have on either of these two on their own. This is actually pretty good. It's very peppery. It's a spicy boy. But it's bringing lots of florals, fruit. Sorry, I did not intend to do a blend like this when I first started, but here we are. Yeah, that's pretty damn good. So I don't know if you are at Glenora or if you're at Bruges Distillery, give the other folks a call and figure something out, because this is like 86 territory. I like this a lot. So we're gonna put that back. 86 points for my little at the spur of the moment blend. Back to the Starward. That's fun. It kind of picked up a Gushers candy thing with water. Yeah, like red fruit Gushers mix. Still some dark chocolate in there. Some graininess. It's really, really cask dominant, and you have to accept that. You kind of have to roll with that. It's going to throw a lot of wood at you, and that's okay. On the palate. I mean, it's a very modern style of whiskey. This is wood-driven. It's wood engineering. If you are, if all you want in life is Springbank in a half-dead barrel for 30 years, this is going to break your heart. Honestly, this is as far away from that as you can get. This is very, very, very woody. But it works. It's got the balance. Chocolate, dark chocolate, strong milk tea, really strong milk tea, the kind that's going to give you a tummy ache. Black Cavendish tobacco. And all the dried red fruit. The Gushers is kind of remaining in the nose. On the palate, it's still more like just regular red fruit. Lots of black pepper. Big old, grippy, woody mouthfeel. Finish is pretty strong. It's not better than it was. It's pretty much right on par where it was. Still a little bit lacking in mouth length. Like, everything's happening up front. Not a lot of tonsil tickling, which is not making me happy. But it's hard to complain for something that's not even 4 years old. What I'm going to score this? I will score this. I'll go 86 on this. This is pretty damn good. 86 points. Totally worth a grab if you see it on the Binny's and a bin shelf. And so there you are. In last place, but still very, very interesting, the Bruges from picked by Passion for Whiskey. And then the Glen Breton Ice 10-year-old. My blend, this thing, my blend of those two losers is better, 86 points. Starward, also an 86 pointer. And then your winner, to my delight, is the Waterford Coffee Cuvée. It's really coming into its own, and it's got some actual age on it. And yeah, that's the video. Thank you for watching, and cheers. Come on.